So let's look at a few examples that demonstrate Islam's central position of perpetual incitement to war and how the average Muslim tries to disagree with it, despite the evidence presented to them.
I want to ask you about that verse you just pulled up about the prosecution and killing people on the spot that you just pulled up.
Which verse was it? About infidels? Let me read it. So it's Surah Muhammad, chapter 47, verse 4. So when you meet those who disbelieve, strike their necks until you've inflicted slaughter upon them. There's also a lot of other ones.
Okay, have you read the verses around that one?
I read the whole verse, yeah.
Have you read the whole verse?
Yeah, what about it?
Do you understand the historical context, what was happening at that time when this verse was revealed? Throughout his lifetime, the Quran was revealed at certain points, at certain events, after certain wars, after certain rebellions. The Quran was revealed. Each surah, each chapter was revealed because something had just happened. When that verse was revealed, the Jews had just betrayed the Muslims and killed some of them and betrayed their war treaty, and they were told to kill them when they found them, the ones who betrayed them for that treaty.
Right, but it doesn't say kill the people who betrayed the treaty. It says wherever you find a disbeliever, strike them at their neck and slaughter them.
She uses a common defense of Islam's war verses, that it was context specific. The problem with this defense is that it immediately makes one ask the question, if it only applies during that time, why is it in the holy book of guidance to be followed by mankind for all of eternity? Conveniently dismissing verses and hadith is a common pattern of the average Muslim on the street when questioned on these hate-filled verses.
Have you studied with Islamic historians? Do you know why that verse was revealed and what that verse means?
The verse is saying that the judgment day cannot come about until the Jews are killed by the Muslims. And in fact, this exact hadith is cited in Article 7 of the Hamas Charter from 1988. It is their justification for fighting and killing Jews in Israel.
They've discussed the Middle East conflict and the relationship between Muslims and Jews. Although this is a complex issue, Muhammad's animosity towards the Jews is an inseparable aspect of this long conflict, and why it will persist in some form for as long as Islam exists as a religion.
There's a particular argument that some Muslims bring up, that Muhammad was only doing defensive battles, that he was only protecting himself from the evil Makkans who wanted to harm him, that this verse and others are for defending the faith but not for attacking anyone, that Islam didn't spread by the sword. If you go back to the beginning, Muhammad and his followers were persecuted for their beliefs. But what is obvious is that according to the Seerah, the problem is not that he wanted to worship Allah, but that he didn't want them to worship the idols. You see, the Makkans already believed in Allah. The Quran says, if you ask them, who created the heavens and the earth and subjected the sun and the moon, they would surely say Allah. Then how are they deluded? Ibn Kathir tells us that in the early days, the Makkans made him a deal. In the tafsir of Surah Kafirun, it says that the Makkans offered a deal to Muhammad, that they would worship their idols for a year, and he would worship his God for a year. But he rejected this deal. He wasn't having it. It was either his way or the highway. Meaning, Muhammad wanted to eliminate all other belief systems. It is he who sent his messenger with guidance and the religion of truth to manifest itself over all other deens, other ways of life and religions, although those who associate others with Allah dislike it. There is the famous incident of the conquest of Makkah, where Muhammad cleansed the house of idolatry and broke all of the 360 idols at the Kaaba. Would we ever accept this in today's democratic free world? That others' religious symbols be destroyed by the new government that came into power? No. Muhammad wasn't about settling with others. He wanted to get rid of all of the disbelievers from Arabia. And in yet another verse, similar to the previous one I quoted, it is he who has sent his messenger with guidance and the religion of truth to manifest it over all religion, although those who associate others with Allah dislike it. In the book of Jihad, in Sahih Muslim, it states that Muhammad said, I will expel the Jews and Christians from the Arabian Peninsula and will not leave any but Muslim. This is also repeated in Jami' at-Tirmidhi, Muwatta of Malik, and in Sahih Bukhari. It says that Muhammad's dying wish was to expel the pagans from the Arabian Peninsula. So Muhammad wanted to kick all the non-Muslims out of Arabia. This was his dying wish. He was already dying. What's the point? So much for peace and harmony. So much for lakum dinukum waliya deen, to you your religion, to me mine. So much for la ikraha fid deen, no compulsion in religion.
Of course, Islam has, what's it called? It's been used as a tool for colonization, but at its core, it's not violent. I think
it literally says it in the Quran.
Extremists have used Islam as a shield and manipulated it to be like, oh, I can kill anyone who's not Muslim, but that's not. And
do you know that in
Islamic teachings, if you kill one person, it's so wrong that it's like you've killed all of humanity. It's not right.
One other Muslim. It says that if you kill a non-believer, the amount that you have to pay them is half that you would pay if you killed a Muslim. So yes, it's a two-tiered system. It absolutely is. The Hadith, the Quran.
Well, any Muslim who kills someone, period. It doesn't matter if they're a Muslim or non-Muslim. It's wrong, period.
I agree that it's wrong.
Islam doesn't teach us to kill at all.
Well, then you should really read the Quran and the Hadiths and stuff.
You think it teaches us to kill?
It literally says it. I don't know exactly what Hadith. We can even pull it up. But the reality of it is that under proper Islamic jurisdiction, what do they believe to do with apostates like Fabian and I right here?
We are second-class citizens. We have to pay jizya. We are dhimmis, and we have to pay jizya for our protection. From who? From them. So yes.
Them Muslims?
Them is a government, right? So they're saying, hey, pay us a tax and we'll protect you. From who? From ourselves. That's literally a mob. Your foundational documents and your foundational texts say you can wage war, say you can kill. If they're non-believers, say that you have to make them pay a tax.
Okay.
If you kill one and they're a non-believer, you pay half of what you have to pay for
I'm telling you
one.
from my point of view, as I see. For me, Islam has been taught to me as, well, again, you're gonna twist my words, but Islam, we're not supposed to kill. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim or you're not Muslim. We're not supposed to harm people. You treat people the way that you want to be treated. I don't view someone as lower than me because they're Christian or they're Jewish.
Not you, because you're a good person. And again, that's why I'm not saying Muslims. There's a lot of really nice Muslim people. I'm saying Islam in itself is a religion that is based off war, that is based off subjugating people, that is based off conquering people.
But I personally don't believe that. But
I mean, it literally says it in there.
This girl is a classic example of how little Muslims are taught about their religion. They almost never read the Quran in a language they understand. Instead, they are reassured by sound bites that make Islam seem on the surface to be peaceful. Then they relay these sound bites back and forth to each other to paint a false picture of Islam's core doctrines. A lot of the morality and ethics she's supporting are general ethical positions that don't derive from Islam at all. They are basic civilizational norms such as not to kill people, which most humans abide by. The Quran itself does not promote this first and foremost. She quotes a famous verse that Muslims regularly use to demonstrate Islam being a religion of peace.
Quran 5:32. That is why we ordained for the children of Israel that whoever takes a life, unless as a punishment for murder or mischief in the land, it will be as if they killed all of humanity, and whoever saves a life, it will be as if they saved all of humanity. Although our messengers already came to them with clear proofs, many of them still transgressed afterwards through the land. Tafsir of Ibn Kathir. Ali bin Abi Talha reported that Ibn Abbas said, "It is as Allah has stated, if anyone killed a person not in retaliation of murder, and to spread mischief in the land, it would be as if he killed all mankind. And if anyone saved a life, it would be as if he saved the life of all mankind." Saving life in this case occurs by not killing a soul that Allah has forbidden. So this is the meaning of saving the life of all mankind, for whoever forbids killing a soul without justification, the lives of all people will be saved from him. Similar was said by Mujahid, and if anyone saved a life, means he refrains from killing a soul. Al-Awfi reported that Ibn Abbas said that Allah's statement, "It would be as if he killed all mankind," means whoever kills one soul that Allah has forbidden killing is just like he who kills all mankind. Sa'id bin Jubair said, He who allows himself to shed the blood of a Muslim is like he who allows shedding the blood of all people. He who forbids shedding the blood of one Muslim is like he who forbids shedding the blood of all people. In addition, Ibn Jurayj said that Al-Araj said that Mujahid commented on the ayah, "It would be as if he killed all mankind." He who kills a believing soul intentionally, Allah makes the fire of hell his abode. He will become angry with him and curse him, and has prepared a tremendous punishment for him, equal to, if he had killed all people, his punishment will still be the same.
So when understood in context, you realize that even this verse is not what it seems. It is the repeating of a statement of God to the children of Israel. The verse is part of a larger narrative about the consequences of shedding blood without just cause. Just cause is then explained further in later verses, which support the subjugation of disbelievers. Thus it is not a verse of peace at all, but a warning against shedding the blood of another Muslim. There is also the concept of abrogation, nask, where later verses replace or supersede an earlier verse, either partially or completely. This is an exegetical theory used to resolve what appear to be contradictions by determining that a latter revelation has annulled a previous one, often with the new ruling being seen as more beneficial or appropriate for the time. So what we find is the more peaceful verses of the Quran are at the beginning, thus they are superseded by the later war verses.
Three specific groups of people, non-Muslim groups, broadly speaking, that Muhammad and his rest of the crew interacted with as recorded in the Quran. In all three cases, he employed violence, mafia, thuggery, violence. To you, the question is, do you know of one instance amongst his interaction with non-Muslims? I'm not looking for waffling. No, don't show patience. Where he actually employed non-violent means to resolve religious disagreement. If you know, get some historical details. Don't rant on based on non-historical details.
Chapter 60 in the Quran, Surah Al-Mumtahana.
Chapter 60.
Yeah, the verse number 8. Allah said, لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم إن الله يحب المقسطين. So the verse is speaking clearly here that Allah is telling the Prophet ﷺ and the Muslims, the believers this time, that he's not negating you from dealing in a very noble way with the people who didn't fight against you, and be very just to them, because Allah loves those who are establishing justice, those who are non-Muslims. In the following verse, Allah is saying, إنما ينهاكم الله عن الذين قاتلوكم في الدين وأخرجوكم من دياركم وظاهروا على إخراجكم أن تولوهم ومن يتولهم فأولئك هم الظالمون. So the three cases that you were speaking about, and you put actually very, very strange explanation. I don't know from where you
Excuse me, sir.
Let me finish my answer, please. Yeah. So the following verses that I quoted here is speaking about the case of war when the Muslims had to be faced, in accusations, expelling them out from their houses, forcing them to leave their lands, and fighting against them day and night. So Allah commanded the Muslims in Surah Al-Hajj to give them a permission to fight, to defend themselves. But in all normal cases, the Muslims were dealing with the non-Muslims in a just way, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, and in a noble way. Allah said, أَن تَبَرُّوهُم, the word birr, which means all good. You can open two brackets and put all good things inside of them.
Utter nonsense. Excuse me, sir.
Listen
Al-Mumtahina is chapter 60.
Exactly.
And you don't have to say exactly. I am a Christian. I listen, I think, and I respond. I'm not a Muslim who can't think properly, who don't listen. Oh, whoa. This is clear Muslim tactic.
Go ahead.
Have you ever read Al-Mumtahina in your life?
Yes, I've read it.
You have. Do you know the Al-Mumtahina surah goes against your own waffling if you had read the entire surah? Okay. Al-Mumtahina, ayat 4 tells you a very simple principle of how and when you employ violence and are hateful.
How?
Yeah. I'll read that for you.
The verse,
Surah Al-Mumtahina, Surah 60, Ayah 4. There has already been for you an excellent pattern. So your wonderful Quran, Islam is coming here. So please stay focused here. For you an excellent pattern in Ibrahim, in your Islamic Ibrahim, and those with him. When they said to their people, indeed, we are disassociated from you and from whatever you worship other than Allah. So the pattern begins by saying, hey Muslims, Ibrahim said, disassociate from your own folk. We have denied you, and there has appeared between us and you animosity and hatred forever until you believe in Allah alone. So look at your marvelous Islamic junk. You said Al-Mumtahina is a marvelous explanation. Don't shake. Al-Mumtahina is a marvelous explanation for why Islam is very peaceful. And I'm here explaining to you Al-Mumtahina gives a timeless principle to the Muslims, which is from... if you wait and listen, you might understand. If you wait and listen, you might understand. Ibrahim and those with him told... At the time of whom? Of Abraham, listen to. Listen. Yeah. You don't have to...
Why are you afraid?
Well, you're a Muslim. I need to be afraid a little bit. So please stay. If you're a Muslim, yeah, of course. You know, if I read this and if I see people like, hey, if I read this and if I see people like you and people like him and people like only this gentleman I respect, but these people, I should be careful. I should be wary. Look at you guys, hiding behind your beards, and all you do all day long are terrible things. And therefore, I am a man, and this is why I allow you to come here despite all your violence and employ violence at Speaker's Corner. This is why as Christians we allow, we are not mice hiding behind, wherever you hide behind, and then come up with your pressure cooker bombs. And therefore stay focused. Stay focused right now.
Is this your argument?
My argument exactly was midway before you hijacked the conversation and went somewhere else. And therefore if you stay focused right now, Ibrahim was asked to disassociate himself from the non-Muslims. Why? The pattern, the marvelous Islamic peaceful pattern was that until you become Muslims, we will remain hateful and animus towards you.
So you already have an excellent example in Abraham and Zeus with him.
Yes.
When they said to the people, we totally disassociate ourselves from you and shun whatever idols you worship besides Allah.
Terrible non-Muslims.
Can I finish?
Yeah, please. I faced your interruption all over. I am terrified all the time when I'm Muslim. Hey, look, you're coming too close, my friend. You're coming too close. You're leaning forward all the time like this.
It's a free space.
It's not. It's my private space. You're coming into my private space. Okay, I'll come here right now. Don't lean forward. Hey, look. Stay vertical like that. Don't lean forward like this.
The enmity and the hatred that has arisen between us.
Yes.
Between us.
You see, Muslims are hateful and animus. Why? Why? Please.
You know what?
Hateful and animus. Why?
You know what?
Why?
Wait.
Animus.
Yes.
Animus. I know you are anonymous also. You're all keyboard warriors. Why?
What does it mean? For example, we need
What does it mean? The gentleman is going to give an expert expose on what hatred and animosity means. Please go ahead.
Talk to yourself.
Don't touch me.
Talk to yourself.
Don't touch me. Give me an answer.
Talk to yourself.
Why would you want to be hateful and animus? Please go ahead.
So the story of the Prophet Abraham and his people was very simple.
All right.
The people at his time, they were worshiping idols. So he went to them to explain to them that these idols are useless, okay, and worship God Almighty alone. But what happened? They started to attack the Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, and they never listened to him, and they never listened to the people also with him. So what happened? That they started to attack him, and even they made a fire and put him in the middle of it, but God Almighty saved him. So the verse is saying,
do you respect the Quran, sir?
The verse is saying clearly is that this
where
enmity started between.
Where is the fire in this verse, please? Where is the fire?
The
in the
Quran
fire?
is explaining itself.
Ah, all right.
The Quran
So he is now, this is the marvelous Muslim.
Marvelous Muslim.
You know what you would find, my dear friends, is when I
wanna listen to
listen.
explanation,
Please, New York, Mr. New York, please listen. Stay
you don't wanna
focused.
listen, you
Please
don't
listen.
you don't
When I read the Quran, I stick to the text. I stick to it. Please listen.
wanna listen, you
When
don't
I read the Quran, I stick to the text.
You don't want to listen.
When he reads the Quran to defend his evil, violent Quran, he goes all over the place, borrows all sorts of Aladdin fancy stories, and comes back here. He mentioned something about the Abraham's folk doing nasty stuff to him.
Christian, right?
Where is that here,
You're
sir?
a Christian, right?
No, stay focused
You're a
right now.
Christian, right?
Where did the folk of
You're a
Abraham
Christian.
did do terrible things to
So
him?
this
Stay focused here. Where did they do terrible things to him
your
here?
tactic will not work.
Please
The
show here.
verse- The verse is saying the enmity started between us.
Let me read the
What does
ayat
it
for
mean?
everyone,
What
including
does
you,
it
sir.
mean? What does it
Let me
mean?
read that
Which
again.
Enmity? Which enmity? Which enmity is here?
I'll read. I'll read.
enmity?
I'll
Which
read.
enmity?
I'll read. I'll
Which
read.
enmity?
I'll show you what it is. Clearly, you haven't read your Quran long enough.
Read the full verse.
Excuse me, sir.
Read the full verse.
Stay focused.
Read the full verse.
Don't terrorize.
Read
Threatening can stay in your masjid.
Don't point out to
Excuse me. Don't threaten me.
Don't-
If you're angry, go shout at your Muhammad Jihad. Shout at him. Don't come to me. Okay?
Here we go.
Oh, whoa. Either shout, terrorize,
Go ahead,
or the
go ahead.
moment you are caught,
Go
now
ahead.
play your
Go ahead.
silly games.
Go ahead.
Let me. I will go ahead when I want to go ahead. Stay focused.
Yes, read the verse.
There has Al-Mumtahina. Chapter 60, you say yourself also, you were hiding behind him earlier, now stay focused. Surah Al-Mumtahina, Ayat 4. Yeah, you need to run away from me, you surely need to.
Go ahead, go
If
ahead.
he becomes the caliph, he'll chop your head off, so stay focused.
Go ahead.
There has been for you an excellent pattern in Ibrahim and those with him. What did they do? What is the pattern? When they said to their people, indeed, they said to their own people. Can you imagine their own people? What did they say? Indeed, we are disassociated from you. So they are saying we are going to isolate. Today we know Muslims don't integrate. Why not? Because that is Islam, that is the Quran. Our politicians are gaslighting us. They are making the non-Muslims think that Muslims don't integrate because of the non-Muslims. Why do the Muslims not integrate? Because the Quran instructs them so. Indeed, we are disassociated from you and from whatever you worship other than Allah, namely Jesus. You worship Jesus, we have disassociated ourselves from you.
I have a question.
So now we know why Muslims don't integrate in a Christian land. I will read further. I am not a Muslim. I am not here reciting. I am here reading, evaluating, concluding. So I will continue.
I have a question for you.
Why were they disassociating? We'll find the answer if you read one more statement. We have denied you, and there has appeared between us and you animosity and hatred forever. And if you are wondering why, the answer is in the remaining statement. Until you believe in the Mickey Mouse Allah alone. You see why they hate, why the Muslims hate non-Muslims? Why do they hate the Jews in Israel?
He's a liar.
Why do they hate the Christians in the UK? Why do they hate the Christians in Dearborn, Michigan, in the US? Why? Because their own evil, wicked Quran asks them to do that. How did it begin? It said, excellent pattern. You know, this is height of gaslighting.
Okay.
In the UK, we would call this a nasty piece of filth to go around to your own fellow countrymen, to even your own family, and show animosity and hatred merely because they are non-Muslims.
When you finish, let us
What
know.
does the Quran gaslightingly terms this as? Excellent pattern.
Okay, let's answer him.
I shall make one last point. Al-Mumtahina also goes on 4 different instances in Al-Mumtahina, in one surah, where the peaceful messenger Muhammad was pleading with his fellow Muslims. His fellow Muslims did a terrible thing. What was the terrible thing that his fellow Muslims did? We'll find out in Al-Mumtahina chapter 1, ayat 1.
Do you want to have an answer? You're not sincere.
The terrible thing that the Muslims did. Hey, don't come into my don't come into my space. I moved away multiple times. Don't come into my space. You have come into my space multiple times.
You want to have a debate or not?
Surah 60, ayah 1.
I'm reading from Sasha.
Yeah, please. If you give me my space, okay, I'll do you a favor. Hey, this is not Saudi Arabia. I don't know when you woke up this morning. This is not Kuwait. This is not Lebanon. This is not Syria. This is not Saudi Arabia. This is the UK.
Yes, this is the UK.
Maybe you woke up only 5 minutes before you showed up here with your trousers on. I will do you a favor and move back one last time. Don't come into my personal space again. What is the other important point that Al-Mumtahina says towards some of the Muslims? This is what it says. Oh, you who have believed. My dear friends, if anyone is an intelligent Muslim, you might want to listen right now. Oh, you who have believed, i.e. Muslims, do not take my enemies and your enemies as allies. Oh, wow. What a nasty stuff these Muslims could have done. That Muhammad is pleading with them. Don't take my enemies and your enemies as your allies. Now, why do Muslims consider non-Muslims as enemies? Because the Quran, the Islamic Mickey Mouse Allah and his entourage, including the Muhammad, went around asking the Muslims not to take non-Muslims as allies. So my dear friends, we in the UK should wake up before it is too late.